Throughout the Demon Slayer series, Tanjiro's unshakable will and kind heart make him the perfect Demon Slayer. But what if tragedy pushed him down a much darker path? In today's video, we'll explore how the Demon Slayer universe would change if Tanjiro became an Upper Moon demon serving under Muzan. The setup for this timeline begins with Muzan attacking the Kamado household, but this time his attempts to turn Nezuko into a demon doesn't succeed. In this version, Nezuko is overwhelmed by the strain of the transformation and she dies with the rest of the family before Tanjiro arrives. Without a sister to protect, Tanjiro has no hope to hang on to, and when Kiyabu proposes becoming a demon slayer, Tanjiro accepts the offer purely out of the desire for revenge. Tanjiro's normally warm personality burns bright with rage in this timeline, and he no longer pities demons in the same way he did in the original story. Tanjiro trains relentlessly under Urokodaki and perfects water breathing, eventually passing the final selection with ease. His fellow demon slayers notice something unsettling about Tanjiro, as he's brutally efficient in combat and shows little warmth toward his comrades. Given that Tanjiro doesn't have to meet the Hashira early on in this timeline, he's more likely to gravitate towards fighters like Sanemi and Obanai instead of Giyu and Kyojuro, as their approach to demon hunting matches his more closely. Zenitsu and Inosuke still cross paths with Tanjiro during the Tsuzumi Mansion arc, but without Nezuko, their dynamic is strained. Zenitsu finds Tanjiro's intensity frightening, while Inosuke is both impressed and disturbed by his ruthless fighting style. The early arcs of our story will remain unchanged, as Tanjiro should still be able to handle weaker demons on his own. While the fight with Rui does get a little dicey, Tanjiro is able to hold his own by awakening the Hinokami Kagura, and manages to survive until he's rescued by Giyu. The trio eventually finds themselves on the Mugen train with Kyojuro Rengoku, and once again the mission against Enmu plays out similarly to the original timeline. By this point, Tanjiro has gathered some mastery over sun-breathing, and successfully cuts through the body of the Mugen train to beat Enmu. Now the divergence point of our story is when Akaza appears after Enmu's defeat. The battle between Rengoku and the Upper Moon 3 unfolds just as tragically, with the Flame Hashira sustaining fatal wounds while protecting the younger demon slayers. As Rengoku falls, Tanjiro's rage explodes and he charges at Akaza with everything he has, but the Upper Moon demon easily overpowers him. But this time, instead of fleeing in fear of the sunrise, Akaza sees an opportunity. Even though Tanjiro doesn't have Rengoku's incredible strength, he has the same indomitable will and potential to grow. Recognizing Tanjiro's incredible potential, Akaza makes a calculated offer. He threatens to kill both Zenitsu and Inosuke unless Tanjiro accepts Muzan's blood and becomes a demon. Tanjiro is already broken from losing his family, and now witnessing Rengoku's death. So to save his remaining companions, he accepts Akaza's offer. Akaza infuses Tanjiro with a massive amount of Muzan's blood, and the process immediately throws Tanjiro into intense agony. Tanjiro's transformation lasts well over a day, and as he evolves, his memories gradually fade, only to be replaced with feelings of loss, grief, and rage. Everything that made Tanjiro human, including his emotions and personality, are consumed by demonic instincts. Now serving under Muzan, Tanjiro quickly proves himself to be an exceptional demon. As we've seen with Kokushibo and Kaigaku, former demon slayers often evolve into exceptionally powerful demons, and Tanjiro initially develops a blood demon art based on water breathing. But as time goes by and he consumes more humans, Tanjiro unlocks memories of sun-breathing techniques and twists them into a new blood demon art, making him even stronger. Muzan is initially wary of Tanjiro due to his connection to sun-breathing, but the Demon King's desire to control this power outweighs his fear. He keeps Tanjiro close, gradually molding him into a loyal servant. The story of the remaining demon slayers proceeds as usual, and Tengen still takes Zenitsu and Inosuke to the entertainment district, where they face off against Daki and Gyutaro. Kanal takes up the position freed up by Tanjiro's absence, and after a fierce battle that pushes all the demon slayers to their limits, they manage to defeat the Upper Moon 6 demons. However, Tengen sustains severe injuries and dies in this timeline without Nezuko's burning blood to erase the effects of Gyutaro's poison. With the Upper Moon 6 position vacant, Muzan sees the perfect opportunity to promote his newest weapon. Tanjiro's combat prowess, sun-breathing abilities, and his vicious approach to fighting demon slayers make him the ideal candidate. Tanjiro becomes the new Upper Moon 6, and Muzan assigns him a critical mission: attack the Swordsmith village together with Gyoko, and eliminate the demon slayers' weapon supply. Tanjiro infiltrates the hidden village alongside Gyoko and unleashes a devastating assault, catching the village completely off guard. Muichiro Tokito and Mitsuri Kanroji engage the demons. Neither of them knows that Tanjiro was a former demon slayer, but Mitsuri figures it out soon enough, after seeing him use sun-breathing against her. Genya Shigezugawa joins the fight against Tanjiro, and the battle is less hopeless than with Hantengu, as the demon slayers only have a singular target. However, Mitsuri is unable to awaken her Demon Slayer mark in this timeline, as it requires fighting alongside a sun-breathing user that has awakened their mark as well. The battle rages on fiercely into the night, and Genya grows more powerful after eating a piece of Tanjiro's flesh that Mitsuri cut off. As Tanjiro fights through the night and into the early morning, the first rays of sunlight touch his skin and he begins to burn. But just like Nezuko in the original timeline, Tanjiro has developed an immunity to the sun by this point. His connection to Hinokami Kagura, the sun-breathing technique passed down through his family, has somehow allowed him to overcome every demon's greatest weakness. The revelation sends shockwaves through the Demon Slayer core, but Muzan's reaction is far more sinister. The Demon King finally has what he's always been searching for, a demon who can walk in daylight. Tanjiro escapes the battlefield, unsure what this immunity is supposed to mean, and returns to the Infinity Castle to report to Muzan. But the Demon King is no longer interested in the mission. He has only one goal in mind: consume Tanjiro and absorb his immunity to the sun. However, something changes when Muzan attempts to absorb Tanjiro. The process triggers fragmented memories of Tanjiro's mother's warmth and Rengoku's final words. Meanwhile, Muzan is overcome by traumatic memories of his encounter with Yoriichi. The process of absorbing Tanjiro fails and he fights back against the Demon King, eventually escaping the Infinity Castle. Muzan falls to his knees, unable to comprehend what just happened, while Tanjiro escapes into the forest. In that moment of clarity, Tanjiro remembers everything. Muzan is the one who destroyed his family, who killed Nezuko, who took everything from him. Severely wounded but alive, Tanjiro realizes that he cannot continue living as a demon, and makes a desperate decision to betray the Demon King and join forces with the Demon Slayers. Tanjiro realizes that going to the Ubuyashiki mansion is not an option, so he goes to Asakusa first to meet the only other powerful demon that opposes Muzan. Tamayo is initially suspicious, but she realizes that Tanjiro must be telling the truth if he could access his human memories. The next day, Tamayo examines Tanjiro and confirms his immunity to sunlight, and after hearing his story, realizes that Tanjiro might be the key to defeating Muzan. Naturally, Tanjiro cannot face his former allies just yet, so he meets directly with Kagaya, who makes the controversial decision to allow Tanjiro to fight alongside the Demon Slayers. The Hashira are torn about the decision, with Giyu accepting that they need every resource they can get to defeat Muzan, and Sanemi opposing the very idea of working with the demon who destroyed the Swordsmith village. Due to the disagreements among the Hashira, Tanjiro doesn't participate in the Hashira training arc, and works with Tamayo and Yushiro instead to develop his blood demon art further. However, Kagaya reveals Tanjiro's existence to the two Demon Slayers who are guaranteed to forgive him, Zenitsu and Inosuke. The trio meet and train separately, and Inosuke and Zenitsu grow exceptionally thanks to the opportunity to spar against a proper Upper Moon demon regularly. When Muzan finally launches his attack, the Demon Slayers and Tanjiro are ready. The anti-Muzan drug has been developed using Tanjiro's blood, and Tamayo discovered that Tanjiro's connection to Muzan has been severed during their battle. The events unfold much like the original timeline, with the Demon Slayers splitting up to face the Upper Moon demons. However, Tanjiro's presence changes everything. He joins Giyu in the battle against Akaza, and Tanjiro uses every technique at his disposal to destroy the demon that created him. Akaza recognizes Tanjiro and is amused by the betrayal, but he underestimates how much of Tanjiro's human will has returned. With Tanjiro's support, Giyu manages to decapitate Akaza, while Tanjiro burns him away with the brightness of the sun, finally avenging Rengoku's death. As the Upper Moons fall one by one, Muzan emerges for the final confrontation. His rage is directed not just at the Demon Slayers, but also at Tanjiro, who dared to defy him. In the desperate battle against Muzan, Tanjiro fights alongside the Demon Slayers as they count down the sunrise. Tanjiro's sun immunity allows him to fight without fear of the dawn, and his demonic regeneration lets him shield the Hashira while they attack. As the night wears on and the anti-Muzan drug begins to take effect, weakened by the drug and surrounded by Demon Slayers, Muzan makes one final desperate attempt to consume Tanjiro and steal his immunity. But this moment was planned all along. Tanjiro delivers another hidden dose of Tamayo's poison, while Giyu, Sanemi, Obanai, and the surviving Demon Slayers deliver a barrage of attacks. As the first rays of sunlight appear in the sky, Muzan begins to burn, as his 1,000-year reign finally comes to an end. Tanjiro begins to lose control as Muzan's influence dies, but the final drug had a hidden effect. Tanjiro slowly begins to transform into a human, with his body undergoing a series of agonizing changes. Finally, as the sun rises over the battlefield, Tanjiro's body stops transforming. The demonic features fade and his eyes return to their original kind burgundy color. The Demon Slayer Corps is disbanded following the battle, and Tanjiro eventually returns to the ruins of his family home, rebuilding the house and creating a shrine for Nezuko and his family. Though the pain of their loss never truly fades, he finds peace in honoring their memory. So what do you think of this alternative timeline? Would Tanjiro's journey as an Upper Moon demon be better than the original? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.